Speculation has been rife in the UK that the newly elected Labour government is planning to merge capital gains and income taxes. Currently, capital gains tax ranges between 10 to 28%. If merged with income tax, the new tax rate could be as high as 45%, depending on an individual's income. Tax consultants in the UAE told AGBI they are encouraging GCC nationals with investments in the UK to sell off their assets if they want to avoid the higher taxes sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so at the moment, usually, there'll be capital gains tax on disposals of UK property for GCC nationals. After these changes, that could be, the rate could be significantly more. Like I said, up to 45% potentially. Obviously, there's a lot of investment in London real estate by GCC nationals. I think it's well known, and so it's important that they're made aware of these changes, and potentially got a small window to do something about it. So if they are thinking of selling, they're better off doing that, sooner rather than later.
Now, the principal private residence relief, which is a capital gains tax exemption, may still be applicable if an individual has only one home which he or she has been living in since the time they bought it. However, those with multiple investment properties can't avail of this tax exemption.
But if you've got, quite a huge portfolio of properties, then you get what's called principal private residence relief. So, significant exemption on any capital gain. Well, that only applies to one property. So if you've got, a large property portfolio in the UK, then, you could potentially in the future, after these changes, be paying, tax of up to 45% on any gains.
Scrapping of the non-dom regime is another tax change that is likely to be introduced by Labour in April next year. Currently, non-doms described as UK residents whose permanent home is abroad only pay tax on money earned in the UK. Those who move to the UK after April 2025 will have to start paying taxes on money earned overseas too, after the first 4 years. As a result, the ultra-wealthy with assets abroad, including rich Arabs living in the UK as non-doms, will have to start looking at other untaxed countries to move to, like the UAE.
Basically, this means that individuals that have been benefiting from the non-dom status may face higher taxes on their global income and gains, therefore, reducing the attractiveness of the UK for foreign investors and wealthy individuals. I think it's been well publicised that quite a number of millionaires have relocated to the UAE and other Middle East countries just based on these proposals. Non-dom tax regime was quite attractive for non-doms because their exposure was limited to £30,000 basically. With the changes, that could potentially be scrapped and could potentially be subject to UK tax on the worldwide assets.